welcome to our next presentation at the Wrestling Mindset Virtual Leadership Clinic. I had a lot of great speakers and presenters so far, from coaches to leaders in the nonprofit community, former athletes. I'm really honored to bring on Jim Miller. Jim Miller was a 10-time NCAA champion as coach at Wartburg. He's a wonderful speaker. If you've never heard him speak, you're in for a treat today. He's an author, and he's the director of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum in Waterloo. We're going to throw up a link in the chat shortly, but one of the things you should think about getting right now is his book, Do It Anyway, which is one of his concepts, and we'll go into some of the ways that he built that Wartburg program, which has been dominant for quite some time. Great read. I picked it up a couple weeks ago, and I've just started it, but I'm already really excited about digging into it and seeing how it can help me develop as a leader and as a coach. A couple points of logistics before we get rolling. We have over $1,500 of Beat the Streets donations. As everyone knows, we're trying to help Beat the Streets as an organization raise money. We love to see that number hit over $2,500 today. Help us bring in that last 1,000 that's going to help us hit that goal and help support their mission. If you've got questions, that we should have some time for that at the end of the session. Throw those in the Q&A section, the feature at the bottom of the screen. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Coach Miller to talk about his leadership and his time coaching. So, Coach, thanks for joining us, and the floor is yours.
All right, man. Thanks, Jake. What's going on out there, man? Let's have a good session here, man. And I do get a lot of inquiries on the book, Do It Anyway. Kyle Klingman, who's with Flow Wrestling, he was with Track, obviously now with Flow, wrote the book. He also wrote Dan Gable's second book. And so, people ask me what's it about. I'm just going to read one paragraph and I'll give you what it's about pretty much. All good teams, businesses, and organizations have people willing to go the extra mile for themselves and each other. Sometimes they may not really want to, or you may not even feel like it, but you do it anyway. If it's important to your success, whether you feel like it or not is really irrelevant. You do it anyway. So that was part of my philosophy in coaching, to try to get your student athletes to a higher level, right? And one thing I know is they can't just do what you feel like doing, or you can't just do what you want to do all the time. You also got to do what you need to do if you want to climb the ladder in whatever you're chasing, and obviously including wrestling. So yeah, I had a long career. I've been 2 years at the museum, but I coached 37 years, 7 at the Iowa high school level, 8 at UNI as the top assistant coach, and the last 22 at Wartburg. And, I think I like to just start by saying, hey, man, everybody refocus and understand, hey, coaching is one of the most influential occupations in the world. And I think the stat is 95% of Americans have been positively influenced by a teacher or coach in their lifetime. And most of the people I know, coaches have been the influence. And I'm guessing in this audience, it's probably 100% of a coach that have positively influenced you to some way, and probably multiple coaches. So understand that as you're coaching, as you're leading, whether it's a company or your team. And when I get asked, hey, what was your goals as a coach, is simply just to help young people achieve more than they thought they could. Helping, and for me, most of my career was at the college level, but helping them, seeing them walk across a stage, having accomplished more than they thought they could when they walked in the door. That was the goal. And obviously that applies to a lot of things, but it comes back to how you think has everything to do with how you perform and what you attain in anything. Let me say that again. How you think has everything to do with how you perform and then what you attain. And so as a coach, figuring that out is, man, I spent a lot of time helping or trying to help my athletes think at a higher level, because a lot of them don't. And let me just start out with a quick story that happened to me. And this is really when the light bulb went on for me, when I realized it. But I was I won a couple Division II titles and placed twice in Division I. So I had a pretty good college career, but going into my high school or going into my senior year of high school, I had not even qualified for the state tournament yet. And fortunately for me, a new coach came in who inspired me, helped me think at a higher level. And basically, he just, a couple weeks into the season, he said, Jimmy, when we get to state this year, and he kept talking, but I didn't hear another word he said. I'm thinking, damn, coach thinks I can go to state. Coach thinks I can go to state. And man, my expectations went up, my excitement went up, my work ethic went up, and we did. But that was the start. And actually, that was the first time in my life that I visualized myself walking into the state tournament as a competitor instead of a spectator. And obviously that was a big step for me, you know. And when you got athletes, and I'm gonna tell you something, if you guys are coaching, you got athletes right now that could really be good. They just don't know it yet. They don't know it yet. And your job is to help them know it, help them understand it, help plant a success video is what I call it, plant success video in their minds that I can do this. You know, I got a shot to do this. I got a shot to win. I got a shot to beat somebody that others don't think I can. You know, instead of, oh man, I suck. I'm not very good. Why am I doing this? I have no chance against this guy. He's rated, or whatever it might be. And so I really worked hard on that. And it started with me. It starts with the coach, man. It starts with the coach. And bringing, and I figure out, hey, you know, I'm thinking as I'm coaching, sometimes I had better practices than others. And, you know, when I broke it down, I realized, hey, man, when I come in with positive energy, am I good?
Yeah, you're good now.
Do I got to start over? We're good.
No, you're good.
Okay, so, you know, if I come into practice, and think about this, how do you come into practice? How do you go into your workplace? I didn't want it to be accidental. I wanted to be intentionally having a good practice every day. And so for me, and all of you may be different, but for me, I realized, dude, when I come in invigorated, when I feel good, we have better practices because I bring positive energy. And so what if I just did that every day? And for me, it was, hey, one thing that really helped me was, you know, I got on the elliptical before practice. I felt invigorated. I got a workout in. And so that's how I went in. Some people might be, hey, drinking some coffee or who knows what. But I came in fired up. I came in invigorated. And I came in like, hey, man, look, we're getting something done today, every day. And it became a success habit. And it affected our culture. And I've had so many kids that have graduated years ago come back and say, man, that really mattered, you know? And because all of you think about this, man. How many places, and all of us know people that bring positive energy. You like to be around them. They lift everybody up. They lift others up. But we also know people that can come in and suck the energy right out of the room. Negativity, whatever it might be, you know? And so I just got in a habit of doing it. And I'm gonna tell you something. I called it my 17 steps. And man, I think this was critical to part of our success. 17 steps meant there were 17 steps from my locker to the wrestling room door. And so, and this is the key, no matter what I was feeling like, by the time I got to that door, I would be ready to go, man. I'm bringing positive energy in here. I'd be like, let's do this, man. And, you know, and that might be, and I just like visualize myself throwing off baggage, throwing off the negativities, whatever it might be. Man, I got a kid that's struggling in a class, you know, my wife was mad at me or something. I forgot to take the car, and whatever it might be. I don't care what it was. And by the time I open that door, man, I'm free. I mean, if I had any problems, I just visualize, hey, I put them in my sock. I put my sock in my shoe. I put my shoe in the locker. I'm leaving it there till I get done with practice. And I told my athletes pretty much the same thing. Hey, man, leave it in your car, your apartment. Don't bring in the baggage here, man. And you know what? Because we want to have a great practice. And when you actually do that, when you have a great practice, you're so much better prepared to fix whatever it is. And I can't tell you how many times I had athletes, you know, they thought they had an issue, girlfriend, I don't know, whatever it was. And by the end of practice, they had a great practice. They said, coach, it's not that big a deal. So I called it motivation by choice. That's what I called it. Motivation by choice. I just made a decision. I'm coming in with positive energy every day. And over the years, you know, and there's plenty of times, you know, I coached that long that you really didn't feel like it, but it didn't matter. I'm going to do it anyway. And that's part of the thing. I'm going to do it anyway. And over the years, I had a couple of assistant coaches ask me, hey, coach, you come in like that every day. I mean, hey, man, are you faking it sometimes? I said, you know what? I got so good at it. I don't know if I was faking it or not faking it. Really didn't matter, did it? And because it just became a success habit, man. And to be able to flip the switch by the time I got to those 17 steps. So that's just one thing that I think all of us can intentionally do different. You know, obviously, what's the goal? I want to have a great practice. Well, what are some things that make that happen? And that was, for me, that was the biggest thing. The biggest thing was the head coach and how he acted and how he came in and what his attitude was and what kind of energy did he bring or not bring. And so, yeah, so because I wanted to help our kids think positive, man, think positive in practice and so forth. Because I think success can happen anywhere. I really do. I mean, yeah, is it easier some places than others? Sure. Some places got better facilities or they got more money or what. But I think success can happen anywhere. And you know, we did win 10 national titles. We won 21 consecutive conference titles in my time there. I mean, the 22 years we were first or second in the nation 18 times. But I want you to know, man, hey, man, it wasn't like that when we started. I mean, when I got to Wartburg, we hadn't won a conference title in 13 years. 13 years. We hadn't won a national title in any sport in the history of the college. I mean, that was 61 years of competing in athletics and had never won a national title in anything. And that's nothing. That's just the way it was. And, you know, in 5 years, we won the first national title. That was 1996. But I'm going to tell you something. And the biggest point I want to make, it goes back to how you think, what you believe. And after we won the first national title, in those next 22 years, the college won 22 national titles in multiple sports. It's crazy. 0 in the first 61 years. And after we won one, 22 in the next 22. And so I get asked that question, hey, how'd that happen? It happened because we thought we could. Actually, we knew we could because we were looking at the evidence sitting right in front of us or in the trophy case. And so, you know, other coaches picked up on that. Hey, we can do that. Damn, that was awesome. You know, and so obviously we thought we could in the wrestling program and sought out to get another one. Never thought we'd win. Never thought once that, hey, I want to win 10 titles. Just wanted to win the next one, you know, and you win the next one. I just want to win one more, you know, that kind of thing. So not looking ahead too much, but, you know, and I want to get this in when I get asked about, you know, I had a lot of guys win national championships, and that was the same thing, how you think. And I'm gonna tell you something. 37 times I had someone win a national title. Okay, 27 athletes won 37 national titles, but the point I want to make is everybody was different. Different sizes, different body types. You know, some were short and stocky, some long and lengthy. They came from different places across the country. Some were city kids, some were farm kids. Some started wrestling as early as kindergarten. Some didn't start till 9th grade. They were different colors. They had different religions, some of them. So, and really the only common denominator of all those kids was they thought they could. That was a common denominator. They thought they could. And, you know, and not one time in those 37 times did even one come off the mat and say, hey, coach, you believe that? I got lucky. I got lucky. No, man. They didn't think that because they had seen that happen hundreds and hundreds of times before it happened. They thought they could. And so, so it goes back to, how do we help them get there? How do we help them think at a higher level, you know? And like I said, that stuff I worked on and we worked on every day. And sometimes it might be, I call it throwing the darts. I call it throwing the darts, man. It's like you got all these athletes, you know, you can't, one thing is not going to motivate each athlete. They're all different. And so I pictured it like they all had a target I'm trying to hit, and each one is separate. And the good thing is you got unlimited darts to throw, and so does your staff. You know, so and it's trial and error. I mean, sometimes you throw the dart, yeah, it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit, man. It doesn't, you know, but sometimes you don't even know when it hit, but you see a difference in the kid, you know, and it might be, you know, if we had a weight, if we're lifting weights in the weight room, if it's our time, the wrestlers are in there, whatever, I'd go in there and walk around and say, dang, you are really getting stronger, man. And they were. And most of the time, you know, if you lift consistently, you are getting stronger. But just saying that, man, you are looking good. That's really going to make a difference for you, you know, and just praise and effort. Or saying, like my coach said to me, Jimmy, when we get to state, I was like, hey, man, I can't wait to see you in the lineup this week. I can't wait to see you wrestle this week. Or I can't wait to see you for you maybe at the state tournament or the NCAA tournament, whatever it might be. But I'm trying to plant a seed of them, a success video for them that they will go ahead and take on and think about, because that mind's not shutting off. You know, I want them thinking about it before they go to bed. Hey, what would that feel like to walk up the podium? What would that feel? I guarantee you, some of the kids you have, they never crossed their mind. They never thought about it, because, you know, with a lot of kids, even if they're good, don't assume that they're real confident. Don't assume it. They may be, but don't assume it. You know, they may not see themselves walking up the podium. You know, I know our kids, when I started at Wartburg, hey, you know, when we hadn't won in that much time, when we hadn't, you know, it was always someone else on the podium, and always some other team getting called up to get the trophy. You know, we start talking about, why not us? Somebody got a rule out there that we can't have success? We can't do that? Is there a rule out there? Is there a law? No, man. Let's start working to get there. We can do this too. And so giving them that thought process, that what would that look like if our team got called up to get the trophy? I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. What would that feel like? Our team getting called up to get the trophy. And I got to tell you, man, that's pretty damn cool. It's one of the best moments in coaching I ever had. And I was lucky to be able to do it 10 times, but waiting for the championship trophy presentation, because in D3, they went 4th place team, 3rd place team, 2nd place team. And you're waiting all that time, and there's at least 5 minutes each presentation, you know? And in the meantime, you got kids hugging, coaches, tears, me too, you know, phones blowing up. I mean, it's a joyous time. And just to be able to experience that and know that that's a possibility. What would that feel like, you know? And just like the individuals that have won their title and have thought about it all those times, it brings you closer to reality. And actually, when you see yourself being able to do it, and it's hard, I'm not trying to say, and it's hard, but it's a joy when you get the whole team thinking that something positive could happen. And when I started there, it was like, just fill the lineup, because my first year we couldn't fill the lineup, and then it was, you know, have a winning record, and then it was, hey man, we want to win the conference. We hadn't done it at that time 14 years, because the first year we didn't win it either. And then, you know, what if we won it again, and then get a trophy, and then win national title and all that. And then, you know, then it was 5 conferences in a row, 10, 15, 20, 21, you know, 3 national titles, 5 national titles. So, you know, you just keep, you never let go of those dreams. You just keep putting the dreams in the kid's head, and that they can accomplish this, and why not us? Why not us? So, you know, it starts, it's a hard deal sometimes, but you keep talking about your core principles, man. Keep talking about it. Do it anyway, man. I've said that so many times. Hey, man, 6:30 a.m. run lift. We start tomorrow. And you know what? When your alarm goes off at 6 a.m., I really don't care if you don't feel like getting up and being there. You get dressed, you get up, and you're there at 6:30. Because we want to win championship, right? We've already talked about it. We've already decided. 6:30 p.m., you got study hall. So after supper, get your books, get over to the library, 3rd floor, whatever, get your table, sit down, open your book, study. We're going to do that because we want to graduate. We want to graduate. And out of about 250 student athletes I had in those 22 years, only 1 didn't graduate. And so we had a great graduation. It was the expectation. Dude, whether you feel like it or not is irrelevant. When are you ever going to feel like going to library study, right? I mean, you're not gonna, but you do it anyway, right? You do it anyway. So that was kind of the mindset. And that when you're able to do that, and it becomes a habit, yeah, you just do the right thing, because that's what we do. We do it anyway, and that's what you're trying to build on, and that kind of thing really helps your kids have success, because you want them to have success, you know. And for example, what was I get, like, what's our goals? Win the championship? That was never the goal. I mean, sure, we wanted to win the national title, absolutely, but the goal was every kid fight their ass off the whole time. That was the goal. Everybody fights their butt off the whole time, and all that started in practice. The battles in practice, and you know, and you think about it. What's the result? Just think if you had everybody on your team or everyone in your business performing to their full potential, fighting their butt off the whole time, what would happen? What would that look like, you know? Well, we started beating people we had no business beating, is what it started happening. And then because we were beating them, our confidence grew, and I had kids saying, Coach, we're beating them again next week, you know? And so, but the good part about that is every athlete you got can accomplish that goal. From the best kid to the worst kid in your room, they all can fight their butt off the whole time, win or lose. Win or lose. And I'm going to tell you something, when they understand the goal, that is the goal, and not getting their hand raised, the goal is to fight their butt off the whole time, they're going to get their hand raised a lot more often, because, you know, they're going to win more because they're competing all out. You know, they're just going to win more. Then the confidence, and then their ability to want to get better, to get in there, get extra workouts, all that stuff. It was kind of a snowball.
Right. Now we're coming in with about 5 minutes left for Coach to talk. I see we got one question in. If any of the attendees want to hear more or hear something specific from Coach, throw it in the Q&A feature. And in this last few minutes, I'll kind of pitch them over to Coach to let him talk about. A couple little things I want to highlight. One, Coach, I love you talking about the fight over, you know, trying to win a national championships. We think about that at Mindset as performance over outcome.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I always say it is, we want to win matches. I'm one of the most competitive people out there. But if we go into matches thinking, I got to win, sometimes that pressure impacts that performance. And instead focus on what's within our control, wrestling hard, getting to my control ties, attacking, pushing the pace. It enables us to have that great performance, and we remove some of that pressure that holds us back.
Yeah, I mean, performing like that is what brought the championships. It wasn't the other way around. I mean, we committed to competing to our full potential, and that's what brought the championships.
Yeah, I love that. I love that concept. So here's one of the questions that came in. What is the toughest part about maintaining a dynasty over time?
Yeah, man. I mean, it is. It's draining, man. It's draining. And but I always thought, I'd rather be in front of everybody than looking in. I'm in somebody's rearview mirror. So, but it was unending chase of excellence. I mean, dude, it was hard. But I was in the office every day. I was in Christmas Day writing thank yous or something. I was doing something every day. But I think you just got to refocus, man. You just got to refocus. And here's what really helped us was, hey, because a lot of times in the press, they'd say the defending champs or you're defending the title. I said, man, we ain't defending anything. That championship is never going away. No one's taking that championship. We're going after the next one. And that was really a refreshing way to look at it for our athletes. It took the pressure off them, It's, oh, dude, you guys are defending this time. No, we're not. We already won that one. So that really helped us, that mindset part.
Yeah, no, I think that's really wise. I mean, past performance does not indicate future performance. They're all separate entities. And whether you're the guy that got beat last time or whether you won that last time, they're each independent matches, and not thinking that one is going to impact the next. They're really separate events. I think that's a
Sure.
good way to remove some of that pressure. This comes in from Mark. What do you do when one of your most successful athletes is also one of the laziest?
Yeah, man. One thing I want to try to do is get my other athletes better than that guy, so he's not the example, that's not the example you want. But I would have a lot of, and this happened to me before, a number of times. I'd have private conversations in my office with that young man. Like, hey man, do you just having him try to understand his potential. I mean, if he's really that good, what would happen if he really trained hard, if he did all the right things, if he did it anyway, all that kind of thing. And so that's and whether it happened or not, usually it did. Usually we inched him toward a better result because he started buying in, but it took time and energy. And for me, most of the time it was the private conversations with that young man, or maybe it was another coach that really had a good tie with him. Sometimes it's not you, it might be someone else that can really get to him. But yeah, that was, yeah. And people will say, well, that's a good problem to have, and until you have enough of them, then, but that's tough, but it's a challenge, man. That's what coaching is.
Yep. Agreed. This comes from Rob Gilbert. What are you looking for when you're recruiting an athlete, or what did you look for?
Yeah, man. That's a good question. That's a really good question, because I had a lot of college coaches ask me this, and I said, I'm looking for kids that knew how to fight. That's what I was looking for. I might be looking at this kid because of his credentials, and I'm seeing this other wrestler like going harder than heck. Who's that guy? Because I always thought, not saying I didn't want talent. Of course I wanted talent. I wanted both. I wanted talent and somebody that knew how to fight. But I found it was easier for me to teach a young guy how to wrestle than it was to teach him how to fight. A lot of good wrestlers, they don't know, they have bad habits. They're lazy. They're looking, they're afraid of fatigue, and it becomes a bigger challenge. So biggest thing I was looking for is just a kid that already knew, he got tired, but he didn't care. He didn't care if he was tired, man. That's a big difference.
No, I agree. I think that's huge. Great job filling that one, Coach. I think a lot of people are going to be able to take that and run with it. How do you keep the kid who works his butt off motivated when they're not seeing immediate success?
Loving them, just loving them, encouraging them, patting them on the back, putting them out there as examples to the team. How much I love watching this kid compete. He's a great example of our team. That's what I'm taught, that's how you represent us and so forth. And yeah, man, sometimes their mind sometimes keep them from accomplishing what they should be accomplishing. So there again, just keep working on that why not you? You can, but you got to help them along the way sometimes. And some of it might be, spending extra time with them in the room, getting I'd grab those guys. If we're on a road trip, I usually grab those guys and, hey, ride with me. And we talk, we get a better bond. Usually we hit on some things, I'm talking about, he might like the Cubs or the Vikings. I'm trying to find out what's he's about, what his goals are. When you have a better relationship like that, usually it makes a difference. Some kids say, hey man, that kid will run through the wall for you. And most of the time it's because you do the same for him, so you're just trying to establish that relationship to help them.
Yeah. And I think that's huge. I mean, individuals, whether you're in a leadership position in a professional setting or, in a coaching setting. I mean, if you don't know your people, if they don't feel like you know who they are and you authentically see them, it's hard to get that buy-in. I know at Mindset, one of the things that we help athletes do is try to divorce success from winning, right? And try to help them evaluate their wrestling in a more objective way by helping them see hey, there's good things you're doing, even if the performance didn't give you the win right there. And if you keep doing these things over time, you're going to start seeing that success in the outcome as well as your performance. But I think that's huge, getting to know them as an individual and using that to motivate them. So, Coach, I appreciate all the knowledge. There's a lot of good stuff you added in here. Just give me a last little pitch for the Hall of Fame Museum, the Dan Gable Museum out there in Waterloo. What is a reason that individuals should put that on their trip when they're driving through Iowa on their road trip?
Yeah, man. I mean, we're preserving the history of our sport, and we're trying to honor, and we honor people that have made it great. And we're just trying to lift up. We're trying to inspire young people that come in. And there's some great history here, man. And I'm inspired just coming to work, because it's almost something I learn every day. We also have a theater room. I watched Bill Cole wrestle today. Bill Cole, not Rob Cole, Bill Cole, 1948 is, you can pull up matches of those guys. And what a jewel that is to be able to see what it used to look like and see what those champions, did and there's so many. So anyway, there's some really unique things in the museum that is worth a see.
All right. Well, have to send everybody that's on here. Make sure to stop in when you're driving through Iowa. There's a lot of great wrestling out that way and a lot of good people that are supporting our sport. So, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Lots of nuggets of wisdom. I appreciate it. And again, don't forget, do it anyway. All right.
Do it anyway, baby.
I don't care if you don't want the book. Do it anyway. Let's get it done. Our next presentation, we already threw it in the chat, is RJ Baduro and Mitch Hancock, two awesome coaches from up in Michigan at the high school level. Coach, thanks so much, and I'll speak with you soon.
You guys take care.